it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who watch my videos chronologically, you will have seen on Saturday, 2 days ago, I made this card to go with this little set of note cards to put together as a little gift set. So today I am going to make the box to go with it. And what I said on Saturday, sorry, I'm recording this on a completely different day of the week. What I said on Saturday is that I would start from scratch. I sort of have, although I have done the measurements and cut the card for the project, but I haven't made a prototype. So this is a little scary. So I'm going to go very quickly through how I calculate the sizes of a box. And this is for a box that requires a bottom and a top, because there are obviously different sorts of boxes. So this is a base plus a lid. So I take whatever it is that I'm going to be making the box for, and I measure it. Can you see that? Yes, you can. You can certainly see some of the measurements. So I can see that my envelope size is basically 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and that leaves still a little bit of room for getting things in and out of the box. And the depth is the other thing you have to measure. So I just bounce my whatever it is, you know, if it's something like this, I just kind of bounce it up and down and hold it in place. And I never do less than an inch. If it's less than an inch, I don't do this sort of box. I might do a pizza box, but I wouldn't do a box with a lid because, sorry, did I say quarter? If it's less than an inch. I'm rambling today. So yes, less than an inch, and it really gets fiddly. So because this is actually slightly less than an inch, I will make the base of my box an inch tall. So it will be 5 3/4 by 5 1/4 by 3 3/4 by an inch. So my card, if I bring in, I'm doing a base in thick whisper white. If I pop that there, you'll be able to see better. I've added an inch in each direction. So my base card is 7 1/4 by 5 3/4, because that's 5 1/4 plus 2 inches, 3 3/4 plus 2 inches. My lid, I only want a 3/4 of an inch down, so that it's not all the way down. This, therefore, I've added 3/4 of an inch on each side, so 1.5 inches. But because I want my lid to go on and off my box reasonably easily, I've added 1/16 of an inch onto each of the sides. Not on 1, 2, but literally I've just added a 1/16. So instead of 6 3/4, this is actually 6 7/8. And instead of 5 1/4, this is 5 3. Sorry. Oh, good grief, Rickenbacker. My brain really is going, isn't it? So let's measure this properly. So instead of 6 3/4, this is 6 and 13/16. Yes. So I've just added 1/16 on, which should be just enough. And I've done the same on the 5 1/4 side. So just 1/16 of an inch on each of your two sides. I think I'm going to start scoring because my brain is going into meltdown. So let's bring in the scoring board. That's not my scoring board, that's my trimmer. You could do it on your trimmer, but I want to do it on my scoring board. It's just painful, isn't it? Right, okay, so this is thick whisper white. I'm using the smaller end of my embossing tool. And I am going to, in order to make sure that the sides are exactly an inch, either all the way around, I will score at 1 inch. And rather than scoring at 6 1/4, I'm going to turn my card and continue scoring at 1 inch until I've done that on all 4 sides. That way I know that if I'm slightly out in any of the measurements, the one thing I do know is that that has been butted straight over there and straight up there. That should be as accurate as you can make it. While I'm here, I will do my pink pirouette lid, which is at 3/4 of an inch. And because I've got that extra 1/16 of an inch, it should mean that the resulting size of the lid, once the sides are in, should be just that little bit larger than the base, which means it should fit over reasonably easily, she says, hopefully. Although the way today is going, maybe not. Right, so let's burnish our score lines. I like to fold towards the, what I call mountain. So having scored, I scored this side, I then fold with that on the outside, like that. So what I'm then going to do is from this side, I don't know if you can see that reasonably well, I'm going to take a little wedge out on the corner there, that's not gone all the way to the fold, and then on the inside of my score line I'm going to cut straight up and then just take that score line out, and then do the same again here, and take the score line out and then just wedge there, and it just means you get a neater corner. So wedge out and wedge out your score line. Wedge out your score line and wedge out. And while we're doing this, we might as well do the base as well. I should probably have scored these while I was scoring the lid, but there we go. So on the ongoing What's the Weather Like in South Oxfordshire today, which isn't Monday, it's a different day. So again, I'm just going to, oops, let's get it on the right side, wedge my corners out. It's a sunny day at the moment, but they are threatening rain. It's one of my running days, so that's fairly obvious really, isn't it? Because, you know, August, rain, why wouldn't you expect it? August is traditionally the wettest summer month in the UK. However, I think we might be record-breaking this year. I haven't heard yet, but we will see. I wouldn't be surprised. So yes, I'm really looking forward to running in the rain. It's one of my favourite things. Not. But at least it's sunny today at the moment, which means that the lighting in here is not too dreadful. I can't believe I'm having to use my daylight lamp, however, because without it, it would be too dark. Right, fast fuse. You want your box to stick together and stay stuck. So your choice is tear and tape will work. Tombow will work very nicely. It takes a little longer, obviously, to dry. Don't stick yourself to your grid paper. So for a video, I would not normally use Tombow. To be honest, I wouldn't normally use Tombow on a box anyway, because fast fuse is fast and it fuses. So we're then just taking our cut edge and lining it up with the folded edge to get our box. And we'll do that on all four corners. And because we've cut that wedge out at the top and at the bottom, it means that you're not fighting to get into your corner, and you're getting a nice smooth edge on your box, on the edge of your box, rather than a piece of card sticking up, which could happen just with a little edge. So, moment of truth. Will they fit? Yay! Perfect. Right, so let's see if we can get this to work as well. So again, fast fuse. Now, fast fuse, remember, light touch and a little flick at the end just to break the tape. Hasn't got all the way into that corner, or all the way into that corner. So the other thing to bear in mind is that you want to, when you do your flick, try not to do all of your flicks up or all of your flicks down, because the tape itself could start jumping off the roller, and then it gets all mucky and what have you. So again, line up one to t'other. Do not, particularly with the lid, be tempted to go too far over, because otherwise your lid won't fit. Because that 1/16 is only a 16th. A 16th is teeny weeny tiny. So don't lose it in your sticking. So, shall we try? Is it going to fit? Perfect. If I show you that way up, you can see that it's snug without being too loose. But that's plain, so we need to do some stamping. So I have here's one I prepared earlier, a piece of ordinary Whisper White, and this is cut at 5 by 3.5 inches. And because this is a birthday set, and because we have got balloons and flowers, I'm going to carry that theme through, and I am going to use the same palette, so Pink Pirouette, Lemon Lime Twist and Sweet Sugar Plum. I'm going to turn it up a bit because I've been using the Lemon Lime Twist as more as an accent. So this time, with my oh so big block, don't need a D block for this, I am going to make sure this is reasonably straight on my grid paper and that you can see it. I am just going to, by eye, somewhere roughly in the middle, and hopefully vaguely straight, stamp Happy Birthday. And then, because we've got flowers and balloons in the set, I'm going to have flowers and balloons on the outside. I'm going to keep my stamping flat, because with the box it can catch otherwise. So I'm not going to have any dimensionals. I've got a bit of fuse still stuck. There we are. Right, so I'm going to have balloons at the top and flowers at the bottom. So this is just with my Pink Pirouette. I'm having 3 balloons. And then I'm going to take the Hooray and with Sweet Sugar Plum. Apologies if you can hear a helicopter flying over. It's because there's a helicopter flying over. We're near an RAF base, and I have to say we used to live in West London under the Heathrow flight path. It's an interesting concept that since we moved, our neighbours complain about aircraft noise. Not all the time, but occasionally. There we are. And we think it's really quiet because it's only very occasional that we hear anything. So it's all about what you're used to, really, I guess. Right, so I'm now just going to kind of make it up a bit. So using one of the larger flower images, and the flowers have, where's the case? Buried under my box. So these flowers have 2 layers, as do the leaves. And there's a bigger leaf there. This little leaf you can fit in the climbing leaf. So I'm going to use the outline flowers, and I'm going to start with Sweet Sugar Plum. They're 2 steps, so they have got a little arrow that tells you which is up. So I might as well use that to help me with my positioning. It's a plan, really, isn't it? And then actually I'm going to bring in a, will I? Won't I? No, I'm going to leave that for there for the moment. I wasn't sure if I was going to go off the edge, and I'm not, because it's the lid. That's the word I'm looking for. It really is painful. I'm bringing in the smaller of the 2 flower images, outline flower images now, and again I'm going to just pop these in. Might come back in and fill those in a bit more. Yeah. So we'll do a complete row of those, and I'm not worried that they're not straight. Again, by doing them deliberately not straight, means you can get away with them not being straight. Whereas if I had wanted them to be dead straight, if one of them had been slightly out, it would have looked ridiculous. So let's start with the smaller flower again and pink pirouette. And this is where you guys being in the way really doesn't help, but we're going to manage it. Now, I would always put down my darkest colour first, because although you can see through photopolymer, it is so much easier to see a dark colour through photopolymer and a light ink than it is to see a light colour through photopolymer and a dark ink. So regardless of what the instructions may say on my stamp set, I always do dark first and light second. I don't follow the numbers of the stamps, is basically what I'm saying. So this is just the larger image, obviously. Can you actually see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Suddenly had a panic. I was too low down on the grid paper. So there we go. I don't want it to be too fancy. But what I am going to do is, I think, let's bring that in. And this is actually theoretically Blushing Bride, but shall I, shan't I? Used to be indecisive and all that. Yeah, I think I will. So, say it claims to be Blushing Bride, but it actually works quite well. So I'm just going to snip a piece off and bring back in our friend the Fast Fuse and just add a little bit of that on the back of my piece of card, so I can then not hopefully stick my card to my grid paper. So just by eye, I am going to line this up, catching hopefully the Fast Fuse. And it's worth remembering that on one side we've got crosses and on the other side we've got dashes. So it's really pretty ribbon. That's reasonably straight. And if you wanted, you could add a bow or whatever. Because I'm using Fast Fuse anyway, I will continue to do so. Otherwise, you could use your Tombow. Do make sure you've, whoops, not done that. Do make sure in the direction in which your ribbon is going that you pop some Fast Fuse over that as well, so that we know that has stuck properly. And don't do what I've just done, which is stick everything to your grid paper. Right, so bring our box back in and just line that up. And if I take it off, I can put a bit of welly behind it. And there we go. And I think that's a really pretty little box. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found it useful, how I work out my measurements. If you would like to see more projects like this, please hit the subscribe button. It's kind of down there-ish. If you've enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. The associated blog post and the products that I've used are all linked below. So do hop on over there. Remember, if you use my online store, which would be lovely if you did, I would really appreciate my customers. Please use the Hostess Code, which I can't remember at the moment, but it's linked below, and it's also on my blog. So please do use that, and then you will get to share in the Hostess rewards. That is if your order is between £25 and not more than £150, or not, so up to £149.99. Blah, brain gone. And the reason I say that is when you hit £150 on your order, you become your own hostess, so you get to choose what you get. If you use the shared Hostess Code, then I get to choose what I gift you. And I do try and look at what you've ordered and try and pick things that you as an individual might find useful. So I won't necessarily send the same thing to everyone, because I like to customize what I send. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thanks a lot for watching.